Welcome to NC Political Tea, the show where North Carolina's political scene gets served piping hot, grassroots style. We're here to shake up the status quo with unapologetically conservative takes and a whole lot of Southern charm. From the halls of Congress to under the dome, we're exposing the deals, the drama, and the dirt that the mainstream media won't touch. Who's fighting for your freedom? Who's selling out to the woke mob? And who's about to get roasted? No fluff, no filters, and absolutely no time for spineless politics. Just bold Republican commentary, sharp analysis, and enough sass to make the left squirm. So grab your sweet tea or something stronger, and let's dive into the hottest headlines and juiciest scandals rocking the Tar Heel State. This is NC Political Tea, where the truth always gets served.
Hey.
How you doing? Happy Thursday.
Good. Happy Thursday.
Got a lot going on in the state.
Right.
And you've had a busy week.
I've had a busy week, but I almost didn't make it here because I got my hand stuck in a printer.
Really?
I felt like I was delivering a baby. Okay, so we have a big printer and the paper jammed, and it specifically says to open the side door and the back door. Screw it. I don't have time. So I reached up under.
Oh, no.
Okay? Yeah, I did. Stuck it in there, and it took me about 15 minutes to get it out, so I must did not make it here with you guys today.
Well, at least you don't have toner all over your hands.
That's true. Could be worse.
I've got to find the upside for you.
Listen, in this business, you got to find one.
That's right. So I'm scrambling from one real job to my fun job. So it's good to see you.
Well, I went to the Wake County Convention last night, Republican Convention, and I have to say, a lot of people there. There wasn't a lot of drama. As I put on X, I didn't like the hole in my jeans, but I made it there. You gave me the Jewish mom guilt trip. I ended up going.
What a compliment.
And I have to say, 30, 40, 50 maybe people, literally folks that I don't have the good fortune to know very well, came up to me and said, I watch you guys all the time. Otherwise, I would not know what's going on in the State House. And they live right here in Raleigh. Well,
we appreciate them. And listen, we can't talk here if we're not there. And yesterday, I have to say, in your defense, the instructions for your convention were rather sketchy. And I told you to fight it. And I'm so thankful that you did. I think that the victory. Pardon me?
Yeah. I canceled yoga.
Well, you can go to double yoga on Saturday, but now you're a delegate and you got to see the inner workings of how it works. And I will say that probably the most I'm very proud of Sandy Joyner. Congratulations to her for winning. She won by acclamation, which means she didn't have somme running against her. But I think there was a sad moment.
Yeah, there was 15 biggest county in the country. 15th biggest county is what we live in.
And the largest in the NCGOP. And you have a grassroots chairperson now. We have a grassroots chairperson in Mecklenburg. The goal is to make North Carolina grassroots because the establishment is exactly why your convention was confusing. And the most disappointing part for me is that the former chair did not stick around and congratulate the new chair. That was very disappointing. Now, I'll just be honest.
I didn't stick around either.
Listen, I should drink my own champagne because when I lost, I didn't stick around to shake that loser's hand. That he won, but he quit. So he left the shambles. So
So here we are. But I have to say, when we look at what happened Tuesday on our show, you, my love, predicted two things, or you foreshadowed or portended. Here's the first one.
Sad because we know the majority of these crimes are coming in the sanctuary city areas. I was kind of surprised to see Fayetteville in there. I didn't realize they had, or if they do have refugee status. We know Charlotte does. We know Raleigh does. We know Greensboro does. They're the epicenter of it all.
Okay. That happened. And I want to say maybe 15 hours later, this happened.
The Criminal Illegal Alien Enforcement Act. If you're an illegal alien in North Carolina and you're committing crimes in our state, you've got to go. And the best way that we can make sure that that happens in our state is by ensuring that local law enforcement, when they charge someone here illegally for committing a crime in our state, that they cooperate with ICE.
There you go.
We've seen the results of sanctuary sheriffs in North Carolina who refuse to cooperate with ICE, and those results have been tragic. We've seen people who are here illegally committing crimes against a person going into the jail, and a small number of sheriffs in our state, now probably fewer than 5, allowing that person to walk out of the jail as soon as they meet bail.
And see, from your lips to the speaker
Just
of
in
the
Paul's ears.
So, this is great, and it's the safe thing to do. So that was the first thing. Oopsie. I'm triggering.
Oh yeah, don't.
Okay, I'm going to get that to the end. Okay, so yesterday actually we also had the new AG Pam Bondi recognize Ned Bird, who was a Wake County Sheriff deputy killed by 2 illegal Mexicans here because of our sanctuary city policy. This is shamefully, this is the sheriff here who allowed the policy to happen at the funeral. And this is to the left. Posthumously, they put up Officer Bird's picture. These are the 2 scumbag, rotten, who murdered our deputy. Now let's talk about 2 of these sanctuary sheriffs that this bill is addressed. And we're going to go through the bill with a fine-tooth comb. This is Willie Rowe. Here's what he said recently. We're concerned with misinterpretations of the directives of HB 10. That's HB 10 is the House bill.
Can you not read, Sheriff?
To force sheriffs to cooperate, right? And he's afraid of misunderstandings. The guy is a dirtbag. Here, speaking of dirtbag, this is Clarence and the Clarence Burkhead, excuse me, from Durham.
Sloan.
I know. Listen, I told you, I've been through severe trauma before this show started. I almost was Captain Hook. Cut me a little slack. But this is not funny, though. Durham is one of the worst counties for crime, for illegals. And he said that he'll follow the law. This is important. Remember this for when we discuss the bill, y'all. He'll follow the law, but after the 48 hours expire, he ain't calling ICE. That means if there's someone who's raped a child or murdered a child or whatever, well, that might be overplaying it. Okay, a vehicle.
No, because that happened in Wilmington. They put the guy in jail. He got out, stabbed, and killed and raped someone.
Well, they shouldn't be getting out anyway. But okay, correct. So let's say so. In other words, the law says only a 48-hour hold for ICE. So this guy intimates that he will just passively, right? Just passively follow the law. Well, that's not going to cut it. And there are 2 laws that we really need to talk about because there's so many on the federal level, guys, and on the state level. A lot of laws, okay, that are addressing this. So here are the 4 guys who put this out. And this should tell you something. So Destin Hall is the House Speaker of Caldwell County. Brendan Jones, the Majority Leader. So if those 2 guys are putting their imprimatur on it, what does that mean, Margot?
Well, it means that we have a really strong leadership, and the Majority Leader has really been strong. I'm very impressed with Brendan, and I love that Destin followed up. But Brendan started it. We've heard him. We've seen his remarks, and it looks like we have a good, strong coalition from across the state. Truthfully, North Carolina, all the way to Onslow, which is on the coast.
Brian Echevarria is always going to do it. Yeah, he's great. I saw him today. We talked about religious freedom and Islamic terrorism. And we'll follow up with that. So we do have this bill that finally passed at the federal level. And so this means that any illegal who has been charged with the following, okay, every municipality has to hold them for 48, remember, only 48-hour hold, burglary, theft, shoplifting. Obviously, assault on a law enforcement officer, any crime, death. Okay, so that's the federal level. But listen, this is important. I want to tell you guys something. There's no direct enforcement power given. So it does not, all it does is require local agencies to cooperate with ICE in those instances. But here's what I found interesting. And I'm reading this because I want to make sure we get it right. It also empowers the state attorney generals in every state to do the following.
You're going to forget Jeff Jackson going to help you. He's not going to help us.
We have a Democratic, suicidally empathetic attorney general here. But the attorney general under this bill has the authority to sue DHS. So if Homeland Security is not cooperating, they can sue. That's something that Dan Bishop, Republican, would have done.
Right. We have a megalomaniac as an AG, and he's running rogue, but not for long, because there is a Senate bill that has already passed that will take his power back. And what it will make sure that happens is that the AG doesn't act in difference or differently than the state legislature. So if the state legislature says that the sheriffs are going to have to cooperate with ICE, the AG can't be in a case involved with the opposite of that.
Well, and also, he won't be able to go on these wild goose chase tangents and sue, I don't know, Trump over every executive order.
13 times. 13 times.
Right. And join with all these other, that's our money.
That's right. And that's important. I don't think a lot of people realize, that's exactly what Del Falwell tried to talk to everyone about, the fact that Josh Stein, as the AG, would not use state funds appropriately, but would make the treasurer's office use their funds in lawsuits. And I think these laws that the legislature are putting in effect are going to put the money where they belong for the right reasons and the power.
Well, great, because this bill would also, allow for these lawsuits and expedited lawsuits at that. So, let's go over this North Carolina bill right quick, because we have a lot to cover tonight. I'm going to tell you something.
And you've got a guest coming.
And we have a guest coming. Then we have a guest coming. So we cannot mess around here. Okay, so the key enforcement mechanism on this is of the federal law, mandatory detention of aliens charged with theft and related crimes. DHS must issue detainers and tackle custody quickly. In other words, there cannot be any more, we'll pick them up in a week or 72 hours. We didn't get there. Courts must prioritize lawsuits in the event that the AGs intervene. Now, here is the House bill. You're going to be able to see where the House bill picks up where the federal bill leaves off. Okay, the federal bill says if you shoplift, if you have a DUI, whatever, that and you're an illegal, you must be on a hold. So North Carolina's House bill says, okay, every person that you arrest, you better make sure, every LEO, you better make sure that you determine their citizenship. Do you see how they work in partnership? Yeah. If you're unclear, this bill directs every agency to contact ICE and mandatory ICE notification. So this picks up where the bill left off, where I love that. Okay. So what do you think of that? How they're kind of working together?
If I were a criminal, I wouldn't have any ID on me ever. I just wouldn't. And I would never speak. And I wouldn't speak out loud. Just like if they were to arrest me, I'd keep my damn mouth shut and let them run my prints, and I wouldn't have any ID on me, because the harder you make it, the longer it's going to take for them to prosecute you and to verify your identity. And if they can't, ICE steps in and has to do it. That to me just is the opening, that I think is interesting. That criminals they're not going to carry ID anyway. They don't care. They're going to carry guns without IDs. But that's where the timing, I want to know exactly what that timing is on that bill. I'm excited about this. I think it's a good first step. I think we have some room. They need real processes in place. That's not what lawmakers do, but they should be putting time constraints in there.
Right.
You will be in touch with so-and-so by this time, 48 hours.
Right. Well, to my knowledge, you cannot hold someone without knowing their identity. I mean,
that's why I said they're going to try to.
Right. Well, I know, but that brings about a lot of things. I mean, maybe there's already policies in place, but that's a good thing. I mean, if they're going to drag their feet 72 hours and they've been very well trained, the illegal alien community to evade law enforcement.
Absolutely. And they're going to find other ways to do it now. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, ICE does not reside in North Carolina. We have they have a partnership with South Carolina. I think they do it between the two states.
Well, yeah, there is an agency, but there are locations here. I'm not sure if they're open to public consumption.
Yeah.
Okay. Here was a bill that's asinine. So you know who
Bill? I'm just kidding.
This is dumb as hell. The title of it is January 6th Riot and Attempted Overthrow of Government. Democrats, nobody gives a shit about this anymore. Let it go. This is just
Class F felony. Wait, what? A Class F felony to engage in a riot or incite a riot. Are they trying to go backwards or is this going forward?
What they're trying, look, it's a double-edged sword, right? The bill itself is intended as a partisan attack on Republicans. Like, we get it.
Well, we can't prosecute somebody that's already been pardoned like that. But it's weird they entitled it that. I'm obsessed with the title because I think it's so dumb. But a Class F felony, that's never going to make it through.
Vague, very, very, very vague language. But you can use this. Here's how dumb they are. If you're listening, House Democrats, you're so ridiculous that this can be used to prosecute your own people, and very likely it will be on campuses, no less.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, flip that back.
So left-wing activists and pro-Hamas people engaging in, pushing law enforcement, burning down the American flag could be seen as a symbol of overthrow.
Going after professors with their hands on them.
Oh, yeah. Saying that they want to bring down the government, which that's their ultimate goal. So it's reckless bill because it can be misapplied for purely political purposes. So we really haven't met since we saw the Trump speech, have we? We haven't, and I don't have any role on that.
That's okay. I just want to, listen. We did our show an hour before that took place, and I think it's important that we acknowledge that it was a tremendous speech, that he did a fabulous job. The fact that Democrats wouldn't stand for a child with cancer, or Peyton McNabb when she was recognized, or the young lady who, I don't know about this online changing identity thing. That was new to me, but that was interesting. But the fact they wouldn't stand for any of the kids, and the poor young girl that was killed, that her parents got a park named after their daughter. And then also Laken Riley's family was there.
Well, the Democrats are just the party of bitterness, and we just showed you how. You're not, this is Terrence Everett, who is a Wake / Granville County rep. You're not doing it in good faith, because if you were, then you realize that it will penalize your own party. You're just getting out some partisan bullshit with that name on there so that you can blacken the eye of Republicans. I don't know how many people care about that, but they care about all the stuff that we talked about leading up to it. The illegals in their town.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like what I'm seeing in the legislature is a lot of petty stuff. I see the Republicans doing. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that I see the Republicans really going forward and executing on Donald Trump and what he's trying to accomplish at they're bringing it down to the state level. But the things I see on the Democrat side are pretty petty. And there are some that I think are petty on the Republican side too. I'm sorry, but we do not need
the official cookie of North Carolina is the Moravian Star.
We knew that anyway. I didn't need a bill for that, but I don't think they need to be regulating cell phone usage for kids in schools. You can't do that at the district level. That's just nuts to me. Yeah.
Well, here's another bill. When I saw it, I got very excited because we talked about this before. There was a provision in the budget, the biennium, I think maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That prevented me from getting documents from UNC, right? From the UNC system. And we're going to talk about that in a second, et cetera. Well, this is a great bill. It's from the Democrats, but they add on there that they're going to also take out and put new provisions in campaign finance law. So they do a good thing and they put bullshit in there. Oh, by the way, just one more thing. I just wanted to draw a line of distinction. This is the Senate bill that we've been talking about that Phil Berger put out.
Okay.
The Senate bill kind of mirrors the bill that we just talked about from the House. We're jumping around tonight a little bit more than we normally do. But that's because I got my hand stuck in the printer, people. I'm lucky to be here.
Normally we have some run time to get ready and get through this. We're all kind of seeing it firsthand and maybe a little disjointed, pun intended. So this is Phil Berger's counter or crossover legislation.
Right.
And so,
and this goes a little bit deeper and it adds, UNC in there. So it's pretty good. Okay. So I called you and I was all in a tizzy and I had a reason to be in a tizzy. There is the state board of ed, guys. Let me tell you how it works. The General Assembly is in charge of education in North Carolina. The governor has very little to do with it. Yeah. Just appointments, but they do appropriations, oversight, and
the governor does the appointments to the school, to the state school board.
Yeah. So the state school board has power and they don't, but they met and they have power to approve contracts. And so I got a call from someone who was a couple someones who were there who were really hot about this issue. And it's right when we've been talking about Doge. So I'll put this little graphic. Do you like this? Wasting money on bullshit.
We could call that bovine excrement.
Okay. I like it. Okay. There is a $1.255 million grant going to teach cooperation in 6 high schools. Can you imagine being a teacher?
What does that mean? What does cooperation mean?
It means if you are conservative or Christian, you have to cooperate with the LGBTQRA MNOP.
So this is DEI crap.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And what chafed my hide, if you've been on my X account today, you know that there are only 2 Republicans on that board. Olivia Oxendine, who's a staunch Republican, and Brad Briner, who is our Republican treasurer we just elected. And
He's not a Republican.
Well, I will say I'm pissed off because he voted against the Republican and with the Democrats, and the Democrats were snickering as though they've got one over. Why would he vote for trash that does nothing for academics? Now, let me show you what this is. This is Portrait of a Graduate. This is what he voted yes for today. Do you see math, reading, science, technology? How about literature?
Don't see anything on there. Reading, writing, arithmetic, none of that.
This is what this program is for every and by the way, you can thank Catherine Truitt, who started this bullcrap. So these are soft skills that are being focused on as we have a dumpster fire in K-12 schools here in North Carolina.
Very disappointing.
This is what he just doubled down on and just approved that grant.
Well, I'm just telling you, he used to work. He's not a Republican, and he's proving it.
Well, it's upsetting. So let me just show you. Let's just take a snippet at the math. Now, the way things work here is in 3rd grade, actually in 4th grade and 8th grade, you get national tests. So 8th grade, guys, is when you're transitioning into high school, right? So here's the state of affairs that high schools are getting. Okay, proficient, at or above proficient, 31%. Only 9% are advanced in math. Why are we teaching cooperation?
So what this basically tells me is that COVID really did bring the scores down. That's what it shows me. And then because, look at, you missed 2020 in there, but it goes to 2022. And I think the other thing that implicates to me is either the testing has gotten looser because it went from 11 to 6 to 9.
This is national. So national.
I think testing looks loose.
Okay, but I want to correct you in that the state EOGs very, very loose, horrible, right? And they're graduating people that cannot read.
Right.
The national one, right? The national one may be, but it's more of a gold standard, an even standard, more so than the state.
Got it.
So, and you're measured.
I mean, $1.25 million could be used on that.
Should be used on that.
That's right. Because that's where we need to
Should
focus
be used
our kids on math and language proficiency.
You can cooperate. You can cooperate and be a functioning idiot. You're still not employable at a high school level. And this is what we're spending our money on here in North Carolina.
And only 6 schools. That's another big red flag.
1,000%. And that's in her statement. That's what Olivia said. So look, I want you to know the person in charge of running the school psychology program in North Carolina. I've covered her very much. I think it's time we give her a little bit of love. And I don't mean that for real. Her name is Ellen Essick. She is a self-identified LGBTQ RANMNOP activist. She was credited with the first one to bring in the gender unicorn into the state in about 2015. And this is for preschool. They're being used in preschool. That's her. And you'll see her here. Social emotional climate. She's worried about whole child. Doesn't give a damn about reading or anything like that. So you've got an activist at the helm. Now she just got a $20 million grant for school mental health.
From who? Who'd the grant come from? Well, then we need to call the feds and say she's doing SEL and get it clawed back.
There you go. There you go. And there you have it, because this is what we have. So she's very concerned about this. Again, I've written about her several times before. She said in the school board meeting today, Olivia Oxendine brought up the fact that, hey, you better watch out how these grants are deployed. It would be a damn shame if we had to retract some of the grants. And she said that she's not aware of any retractions or clawback. Is she been under a rock?
Listen, I'm going to make a call to Linda, who used to live in North Carolina and runs the Department of Education, and let her know what's going on with Ellen.
Ellen's got problems. Ellen's about to have some WWE on her ass, and she's not going to know what to do.
You're about to get ready to get rumbled.
So, Linda McMahon is the wife of none other legendary WWE head, Vince McMahon.
Yep. And they were former North Carolinians.
Funny as hell to have like Hulk Hogan go in there.
I really do think we need to call the Department of Education. They need to be aware of these kinds of things. I don't want to take things away from kids, but we got to do it right. And I don't want any child to be told by a school what their emotions should be looking like. That's just not what a school is for.
How they should react, right? And nothing makes me madder than people telling me to calm down. Actually, any woman, guys, if you're out there, when you tell a woman to calm down, you better get out of the way of like a purse swinging.
Or a stiletto on the toe. That'll happen.
Ooh. That'll hurt.
It'll be passive aggressive, but we'll get it done.
I'm not great at passive aggressive. I'm better at, I think passive aggressive is really aggressive. It's probably the most, I don't do passive aggressive because that is a surefire way to piss people off.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree.
Okay. So speaking of DEI and speaking of, the cockroaches running. So the UNC system, remember that 17 schools, top attorney, Andrew Tripp, ordered schools to immediately suspend publicly to suspend all DEI education, specific requirements. So ECUs, and that's East Carolina University, you guys, they are running all of their curricula through a little machine to pick up words like culture, justice, women's rights. I think that's total bullshit. I think that we don't care about all of that stuff. It's the other,
you know what the test is going to be, Sloan? it's going to be somebody go take a picture of the professor's doors. Remember that professor, that militant professor that was in BLM, and her door at ECU had all this BS social justice DEI crap on it, and somebody sent us a picture of it. This is years ago when we were working on other things.
Oh,
I think
yeah, they still have it.
Remember that? I'm telling you, the test will be what's up on their walls, not what's in
and
the
then you
book.
get arrested. Then you get arrested for violating privacy.
Right. No, that's a public building. We pay for that.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. So ECU, what they're doing is, and I'm reading it because I want to make it clear. They're doing they're all flagged words. Well, flagged words. Do you think they're going to change the words to something?
Yeah, I think this is just a word salad game.
I think it's a shell game. I really do. So it's saying here that, UNC has already removed their DEI. They've already, done that. Nothing to see here. So I know. And so they're hiding this, but there have been some serious laws that have been proffered at the state level. And definitely Trump has made it known that you're not going to get any funding. So the writing's on the wall, but we have to trust but verify.
Absolutely. And it may require some whistleblowers.
We have a lot of those. Guys, we have a lot. I mean, my DMs, your DMs, my DMs are full, whether it's Facebook or X, pretty much all the time. By the way, a little PSA for you guys. If we don't get back to you in like a couple days, I get the DMs I get at least 50 a day.
So I try to
get a lot too, and